It's totally normal for anybody to want to satisfy their natural instincts and appetites because they're all built right in you. So you shouldn't feel guilty if you get a little selfish. But the way you make selfish acceptable is you counterbalance it by being selfless. And that is the only way to find a fair and proper mix of give and take. That's how you keep a clear conscience. You know, there's a big difference between being a little naturally selfish and sowing the seeds of extreme greed. So no matter what you call it need or call it greed, there's nothing wrong with you having the ambition to acquire things. But when you overactivate greed over a long period of time, it becomes all self-consuming and produces the same kind of addictive behavior as cocaine and heroin. And we all know, both of them, they can lead to overdose and ultimate self-destruction. That can and will happen if you let yourself fall victim to extreme greed. Now let me make this perfectly clear. I'm not talking about ambition here. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you pursuing greater wealth and success in order to live a better life. Being ambitious, acquiring wealth and possessions, perfectly normal. So it's important to understand, by our very nature, it's easy to be a little more selfish than selfless. And you should never feel guilty about that. You should never apologize for that. Because to a greater or lesser degree, we're all going to take a little more than we give. That's just nature at work. But when you are obsessed every day of your life by all-consuming greed, it not only takes possession of your personality, it can dominate your entire value system. If you let that happen, your character and your principles, they're going to fall into a state of decline. And your sense of dignity and human sensitivity will sooner or later leave you completely. When you are excessively greedy in everything you think, everything you say, and everything you do. And you know what the real contradiction is? While you're doing all of that, you deceive yourself into believing you're a winner. When just the opposite is true. When extreme greed dictates and controls, you lie, you cheat, and you betray. You know what that makes you? That makes you a loser. Not only do you wind up hurting other people, what's worse, you really don't give a damn. And I'm here to tell you, at this stage of my life, the most important thing in the world are the people in my life. While extreme greed has the power to kill honesty and loyalty and corrupt your morals and ethics. And if you let that happen, it will leave you friendless and you will have zero worth as a human being. Now, sound like an extreme statement? Not where extreme greed is concerned. It's lousy and rotten to the core. And if it becomes your master, you will become its slave and victim, and there will be no room in your heart or mind for 1 ounce of human kindness for anybody or anything except yourself. So in your long, long journey through life, when you get to be this age, you will hopefully have been fortunate enough to have had most of the things you want and need while keeping the influence of greed under control. Because if you allow it to become extreme, you know what? You can know 1,000 people by name and not have one single friend. Now you think about that. To have lived an entire lifetime and not to have had one true, trusted, loyal friend. How catastrophic. To have lived a life dominated by frustration, separation, and worst of all, especially as you get older, isolation. And I've seen it. Greedy old men becoming miserable, unhappy, pathetic examples of humanity. Talk about a dim, bleak, lousy, rotten, crappy, lifelong existence. So take heed. Do everything in your power to not let that happen. Because what I just described is the guaranteed fate of a body, a mind, a spirit, and a soul consumed and poisoned by extreme greed. But remember, it's okay to be a little selfish if you make sure you're also a little selfless in everything you do.